Hi there, this is Dennis Velco with OutBüro. Thank you so much for your interest in our ambassador program, where we have the opportunity to form a relationship in which we both thrive and grow while helping the LGBT community and employer and brands reach the talent and customers in an authentic way. I'm excited to share the agreement with you, and I'll be sharing my screen. So if you would, go ahead and pause this for just a moment, go to the kitchen and grab your favorite beverage, then come back and hit play to view the rest of this video, in which I'll be reviewing the agreement so that it is easily digestible and understood. But of course, at any time, I'm more than happy to jump on a one-on-one call or video chat with you and review your questions or concerns in detail. So here we go. When you received your email, you received a link to this video, as well as a PDF attachment of the agreement that you're seeing here on the screen, which is the OutBüro Marketing and Lead Generation Agreement. I'm going to be stepping through this and going through every single paragraph. Feel free to jump around and watch this video several times until you are comfortable. Be sure to have a pen and paper ready to write down questions or concerns. And then again, we can schedule a one-on-one phone call or video chat to review those in detail. This is just meant to be an overview to give you as much information as possible. The first paragraph is pretty simple. It's just who are we and who are you. The blanks in the first paragraph will be filled in by you in the electronic signature system once we send that to you. Moving down the page is what's called recitals. These are pretty simple. It's just whereas we have this system, whereas we're wanting to partner with you, you have businesses and employers that you have previous awareness of and contacts in, whereas we want to do business, etc. This is pretty standard. It just basically states, why are we even getting into this agreement? We have something, you have something, we want to come together and at some level bring those somethings together so that everyone benefits. Okay? Moving down to the next, the consulting services. As we will get down, you are acting as an independent contractor. We'll get into all of those particulars in a moment. So if you aren't aware of what an independent contractor is, we'll talk about those in detail in just a few moments. But basically, you are offering your consulting services. Your consulting services are what you are doing on behalf of OutBüro. And that is simply representing OutBüro, introducing OutBüro to your contacts, getting that initial interest to at least get those contacts on a video chat with me or a representative of OutBüro, so that then we can take the ball and talk that customer, talk that business through all of the benefits of using OutBüro and so forth. All of those meetings you are welcome to be part of. It's not necessary, but you are absolutely 100% welcome to be in all meetings that OutBüro has with your contacts. So here, the consultant agrees to leverage existing and future gained business contacts to promote the OutBüro.com subscriptions for employers as an employer branding platform, and business brands as clients and customers to as customer client engagement platform. Often both angles may be utilized for a company. For an example, if let's say like a Verizon, right? Everyone knows Verizon. So they have lots of employees. They also have customers. On OutBüro.com, there is employee ratings or employer ratings by employees. So that's where they would utilize the system as an employer branding and talent acquisition system. Then there's also customer ratings. So their customers can actually rate them as well. And that would give the 360 view of the organization from the LGBTQ community perspective. So that's where that language is there. The thing that we are offering is the listing. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the benefits of the employer listing and customer listing in this video. We have other videos that cover that. Also, again, if you have not already done so, I highly recommend that you pause this, go on to outbureau.com and start your profile today, or at least in the next day or two. Complete at least 30% of your profile to unlock all the community features so that you can request connections with other people similar to LinkedIn or Facebook. We call it you friend them. You then can, once you're directly connected, you can direct message those people right on the platform. You can search profiles, you can join groups, create groups, and so forth. Post content, comment on other people's posts, and all of that. So highly recommend that you do that and start getting familiar with it. There's also in this email that you received, there should have been several links on some core articles that help kind of convey the benefits of OutBüro. Now, don't only look there. There's also over 180 articles and some videos that over time will recommend that you become familiar with, just so that over time you're building your ability to present what OutBüro is and its benefits and so forth. But just starting out, I do not expect you to do all of that. We're just looking for you to pardon me, we're looking for you to register the businesses that you want to go after, which we'll talk about here in a moment, and then start to introduce and to just the know enough information to get them interested to book a call with us. Okay. So we're not expecting you to take it from beginning to end, especially with larger businesses. For the smaller businesses of say under 50 employees, hopefully we'll get to that. You'll get to that point quickly. But you know, if we are talking in my previous example of like a Verizon, I definitely do not expect you to win over that customer from beginning to end all on your own. Okay. So it is a true partnership. You'll also notice that each page, when you do receive the contract via the e-signature platform, only the areas that require your signature or information will be accessible for edit, such as here on every page. As you see right here, we have you put your initials, and that just simply is indicating that you have seen this page. There's no way that that page could be altered in the future because it will not then have your signature on it. I do come from a contracting background. I've had people go, oh my God, this is a bit overwhelming. This is why I'm doing this video. It's not overwhelming, and hopefully you'll see that it's thorough. This is not even half of what my contracts used to be with corporate America when I did consulting. So I kept it to its basics, and a good contract simply outlines as much as possible so that if anything were to possibly go sideways in the future, everything is as much as possible has been pre-thought of and in the agreement. So you know, this isn't you signing your life away. This is just us getting to the point of understanding, you know, how we're going to work. And in the unlikely event that there is a negative situation, we always refer back to the agreement on how to move forward. So don't let it overwhelm you. Again, review this as many times as you would like. Again, have a pen and paper ready to jot down any questions, notes, concerns, etc. And I'm happy to go over the entire contract again and or answer specific questions and concerns that you might have. Okay, getting down to the very important stuff, compensation to contractor, you as the independent contractor. And that is company, we agree to award the contractor 15% sales commission of billed and paid subscriber fees, net 30. So again, we are a subscription-based model for employers and brands. That is how the only way in which we are make money is having those employers and brands on the site with an active subscription. So the 15% is based on their total subscription that they are billed and that they pay. So for some reason, if a company signs a contract and is billed, but then for whatever reason they change their mind, they don't pay, we obviously don't owe the 15% because we haven't earned any money from that. So it's on billed and paid subscriptions. Net 30 just is so that the funds can clear, we can do our administrative work, cut the check, or process the electronic funds transfers and get it to you within that time frame. Okay. Also, it'll be a completely transparent system for smaller things where not as much interaction is needed. They're smaller businesses and so forth. We have a online affiliate marketing system where you'll be provided unique links where you will ask your customer to click through. Even if you help guide them in adding their information, you would use that link. For larger organizations, we'll have our accounting system and where you'll be added in as a sales agent and commissions paid like that. It's standard accounting practices, it's standard systems. This is not stuff that we've had to create on our own. This is very common business practices. So therefore, it will be very transparent. As a independent sales contractor, you will have access to your ambassador program online, as well as receiving regular reports, either monthly or quarterly. We haven't figured that out yet, just whatever's going to make the most sense. But think of if you've worked for a car sales, you sold cars or you sell furniture or something, right? That employer will typically show your sales pipeline, your sales process for that month or quarter, what's been closed, what monies you're due, and so forth. Again, it's very standard stuff. We're not inventing anything here. So it's going to be super simple, very transparent for you. And at any time, you will have the ability to request a report. So if it is a quarterly report and you would like a report midway, you'll just simply email us, request that, and we'll have 5 days to get that report. I think it's 5 days or something like that, 5 or 10 days to generate that report for you, which is super simple. It's just taking workload into account and shoot that back out to you. That'll all be email. Okay. So very, very, very easy, very transparent. You will know at all times where you stand. Lead registration. This is going to be very important because we are aggressively seeking ambassadors to come on board to the program. And the lead registration will simply be an email from you saying, here are the leads that I want to register that I'm going after. So in the earlier video, I mentioned a diversity and inclusion consultant who's been in business for 7 to 8 years, has had approximately 100 customers over that period. Part of my initial conversation with him was, okay, well, granted, can't wait to have all 100 of those customers on OutBüro.com. However, the likelihood of getting all of those within the next 3 months is really slim. Unfortunately, likely or unlikely. So, I asked, how many of those do you think that you could think off the top of your head would be highly likely to be interested? And again, after a moment's thought, he came back and said, oh, probably 6 to 7 that he could think of. I'm like, okay, well, so then those 6 to 7 companies would be the first businesses that he would register as leads, and we'll put those into the system as leads being worked on by that person. Why is that important? Well, I alone have, 46,500 people in my group on LinkedIn. I alone have over 27,000 first degree connections on LinkedIn. So I've got a lot of contacts in a lot of places, but I can't work them all. So why does lead registration important? So number one is because we're going to have numerous lead generation ambassadors as part of the OutBüro ambassador program. So let's say he comes in and registers. Let's just again use the Verizon example. Let's say he's done consulting at Verizon. So he says, I want to work Verizon. I'm like, okay, wonderful. No one else has claimed or registered that lead, so we'll assign it to you. That means if you also come on board and you say, I want to register Verizon, I'll have to say, oops, that lead has already been assigned. So that means that someone else is actively working on trying to get that customer onto outbureau.com. It's not good business to have 2 and 3 and 4 different people pegging that business, talking about OutBüro. There needs to be one point of contact. And so we're going to talk about later, if that person isn't successful, then I can go back out and say, oh, hey, Susie, you said you had contacts at Verizon a couple of months ago. The other person wasn't successful. Here's what's been done. Do you think you still have an opportunity there? If so, we'll register it with you now. So there's actually in this contract a time duration, which I think is getting that period. Oh, yes, the very next thing, lead nurturing duration. So when you register a lead, by contract, we are providing you 6 months in order to get that client in active dialogue. If it is an active dialogue yet not closed, is contract closed, a contract signed within that 6 months, then that will be extended because it's being actively worked on. But what we don't want is, for an example, that person who has 100 past customers, we don't want that person to register all 100 of his past clients, because number one, he's not going to have the time to effectively go after all of those clients in that 6 month time frame. And but you might have done work for some of them, and I want to give you a good shot at getting that customer. So the idea here is to register the leads that you feel are warm leads, that you feel that you would have a good opportunity to get into active dialogue within a 6 month period. And again, if you get them in dialogue and we see some level of traction, that 6 months can be expanded if it looks like it's going in the right direction. But if it's not, if no activity has happened, or you're going down kind of a dead-end trail, at the end of that time, I might have someone else who has better contacts, okay? So additionally, if I have contacts, again, with all the amount of people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn, I don't have time personally to hit all of them. So when you do register a lead with OutBüro, one of the first things that we'll be doing is we'll be searching the OutBüro group on LinkedIn of the 46,500 plus group members. We'll be searching my own personal contacts, and then we will provide you that information so that you know that, say, again, using Verizon as example, oh, we have 10 employees in the group from Verizon. One is this level, one is this level. Oh, by the way, I'm also directly connected with the diversity inclusion director at Verizon. Oh, by the way, I'm also connected with the marketing director at Verizon. Here's their names, here's screenshots of their profiles, and then you would then connect with those same people, say, oh, I see you're connected with Dennis Velco from OutBüro. He recommended I contact you, and you can then make that more of a warm lead. Okay. So I'm going to be providing you with as many contacts as I have is in the companies that you register. Sometimes that may be zero. Sometimes that may be several. Okay. But again, making sure that we're not having two or three different people trying to reach into the same organization, because that would, it would be frustrating to the receiving organization or the prospect organization, but then who's going to be attributed with that commission sale? So it's trying to keep a fair system. So I just wanted to take a few moments to really elaborate on that a little bit for you, but that's what these two paragraphs are about: the lead registration and the lead nurturing duration. Um, you know, so getting down here in the non-exclusive, this just means we are not exclusive to you. We are going to have numerous, hopefully hundreds of ambassadors out there. I'm, as of this recording right now, I'm already in dialogue with 10. So definitely it's non-exclusive. That's why we need the lead registration practice. And then you're not, we're not exclusive to you, or you're not to us. Anywho, you have the right to do whatever you want to do. That's what we're saying here. We're not exclusive. Minimum quota. The minimum quota will truly be a minimum. And what this would be is, for a company of just 1 to 3 employees, OutBüro's annual subscription at this particular moment in December of 2020 is at $180, okay, a year. So not expensive for a small business to get on board with OutBüro. And again, for $180, it'll be mostly you doing it and registering them online and leveraging that system, where the likelihood of it needing a lot of time on my part to nurture that business is hopefully not a lot, if any, after you have come up to speed on the value proposition of OutBüro for that size of business. But again, we are priced based on the number of employees. So a company of 1 to 3 employees at $180 a year, or a company of 200,000 employees a year, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, but that would be a really dang good commission at 15%, let me just tell you, is that they get the same features and benefits. But I would, the company of 200,000 employees is going to need a lot more nurturing and a lot more bandwidth on my side and OutBüro team side to get them to the point of signing the contract, getting on board, getting all their info up, and so forth. So, we need everyone. I want the small businesses of the 1 to 3 employees, but and you can make good money, but there you're going to have a lot of those sizes in order to make the money of that you could with a much larger business. So the key here is, think about organizations that you have strong relationships with, that the people pretty well, they trust you, they trust your recommendation, value your perspective, and thereby infer that trust over to OutBüro and agree to learn more and hopefully get down the line of signing. But you need to think of spending the time on the largest possible. And if you have a wide range of customers, you know, from the small, medium, and large business, you might want to mix that up. Obviously, the smaller the business, the kind of easier it is to get on board. So if you have businesses in the 1 to 5,000 range, that's going to be faster, quicker, easier than companies in the 200,000 range, right? So if you have that mix, it's great to put some of those big fish in your queue, but also putting some of those smaller fish in the queue so that hopefully they close quicker. We make income and you make income faster on those. Also, it's just good training ground, good experience to get comfortable with what's, you know, explaining the value proposition, what it is, and so forth with those smaller organizations, so that as you get to the larger organizations, you already have some experience on doing that, and you know, don't kill it right away by misspeaking or so forth. So at any rate, the minimum quota, we'll set that at a very low rate, but even if it's just like 3 leads at 180, what is that? 3, 4, you know, call it $500 a year. What that is the contract has to remain active. In order to remain active, there has to be an ongoing effort on your part to promote OutBüro. Okay, so what we don't want is we don't want someone to come on and get 3 big fish and say, wow, I'm now, like that one fella I mentioned, if he gets all 100, that's $330,000 a year commission for him at our current rates. So what we don't want is for him to go gangbusters and getting all 100 of those people on companies on the site earning $330,000 a year, and then think he's in millionaire dream and goes off to Tahiti and falls off the face of the planet. No one can reach him. He's not around, because you are going to be a point of contact for the businesses that you help bring on. So to help ensure that you are maintaining an activity with OutBüro, we require a minimum new business each year. And again, minimum. So let's say this was three leads at 500,000 close, or $500 a year close. Well, of course, you want more money than that, right? You don't want just 15% of $500. What'll that do? One night out, right? Not much. So, of course, that is a minimum, but it's 3 leads with a minimum of 500 as the example. You could get 2 leads at $180 each, and then 1 lead that earns you $30,000 a year. So you're still meeting it's a combo of between 3 at a minimum dollar amount. So again, we'll set those at the base. Again, I just can't reiterate it enough that it's in order to keep the contract active. Because if all of a sudden you disappear, the contract term says that we can terminate the agreement, which means if that person wanted to say, oh, now I'm earning $330,000 a year and I'm going to go off and disappear and live off grid somewhere and we're in a remote island, well, come the end of the year, if that minimum quota hasn't been met, contract is terminated. He's no longer receiving in the future the commission. So just, and there's, if you were to look at affiliate marketing systems too, out there like Mary Kay or Avon even, in order to maintain those relationships, they have a minimum product order, within a period of time. So it's the exact same. And again, we're going to keep this minimum. We just don't want you to disappear on us. And if so, we're going to have to take that over, because now we're going to have to, or we're going to have to assign someone to be the primary contact for that employer. So if problems come up, they're the main person that they go to, etc. So anywho, just if you have questions about that, I hope I've explained it enough and the reasoning and so forth. This isn't trying to be a gotcha at all. Again, we're going to set this as low as possible, but there has to be some new activity all the time. We got to be growing, baby. We got to be growing, because if we're not growing, we're dead. And if you're not helping us to grow, your contract is dead. That's what this says. Okay. So just being real with you. All right. Subscriber annual agreement and billing. What this says is that when no one has the right to sign a contract on behalf of OutBüro other than me. So you do not have the authority or right in any form of realities to enter OutBüro into any agreement. Only we have that right. We are also who bill the customer. So for our subscription services, the invoice, the contract is with OutBüro, and the invoice is from OutBüro. We're just making that clear. If you have other consulting services, this will not be a company pass-through. So it will not be a contract on your paper that then you pay the fees to OutBüro. No, it is going to be a direct relationship with the employer brand and OutBüro. You will be paid a commission as an independent contractor. Okay, so that needs to be very understood. So, so you can't go off and get customers and charge them, for an example, a premium on top of what we bill, and then you collect the funds and then you pay us. That's not how we will work. So this is why this statement is here. Some companies are arranged like that. That's why it's clear here, because if it's here, we know what we're doing, and because it's stated. Okay, again, just trying to be thorough. Time devoted by contractor. Okay, so it's just meaning that we're anticipating that you're going to be spending some time on this. This time as an independent contractor is building your book of business. We do not pay you for that time. It is your time. And that you're going to allocate appropriate time to cultivating those relationships. Place where services will be performed. I don't care if you do this sitting outside at Starbucks. Doesn't matter to me. But just that you're going to conduct business in a professional manner, and so that when you are representing OutBüro, that you are doing it in a way in which you normally work and present yourself in your own business. So that's all we're saying here. Also, all of your, as an independent contractor, which comes up here, you are by no means a partner of OutBüro. You have no stake in OutBüro other than the commissions that you have earned according to the terms of this agreement. Taxes. As an independent contractor, we are not responsible for any of your taxes, insurances, cost of doing business, your gasoline, your phone bill, nothing. That is you. Provide all of that, your things that you need to function as a business owner and an independent contractor at your own cost. So when you are looking at the funds that you receive, we will be requiring that you submit a 1099, which we'll provide to you to complete. And then our accounting folks will then, at whatever required periodicity level, quarterly, annually, or whatever, will be reporting the income that you earn from OutBüro to the appropriate governing bodies, state, federal, etc., for tax purposes. So just making that clear. Subscriber loss and gaps. So what this is talking about is, let's say, again, using the example of Verizon, you work on getting Verizon on board, and they have net 30 to pay their new year, their second year, and for some reason, you know they haven't paid their bill. So we would suspend their account, and we would reach out to you because you're the point of contact for OutBureau. You are then that company's point of contact for us, and we're going to call you up and we're going to say, hey, Verizon hasn't paid their bill. Do you know, have you heard of anything going on? Their ratings look okay. I don't see anything weird here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to try to get the point of contacts at the employer on the phone, on a call, see what's going on. Maybe the person in the billing department is on maternity leave and it just fell through the cracks. Okay, let's get it solved. Or maybe there's something bigger going on there. But in all cases, we're going to try to involve you because, again, you're the point of contact that brought them to the table. You're continuing the relationship with them, and you're part of our triangle of trust and relationship. Okay, i.e., that's why you are also earning the perpetual income. So we're going to try to work mutually together to get that customer in a good standing subscription role back on the site as quickly as possible, because again, you don't earn that 15% commission on that next year until they pay, right? So it's in your benefit to help, and it's in our benefit to work with you to get the system, to get the whatever issue is resolved. All right. But if they don't pay, if they don't renew, then the commission is gone for that particular customer. And then if we don't see, if they lapse for more than 3 months and they don't renew, and so forth, this gives us some right to go back into that customer and help solve. I mean, maybe they didn't solve, frankly, because they're not happy with you. Maybe you did something or said something or whatever, and they not enjoying the relationship with you in the mix. It can happen. So, but unfortunately, we'll give it some time and try to work with you to resolve it. But ultimately, this gives us the ability, after so much time of trying, to say, well, we got to go after the customer, and if they don't want you part of it, then we're gonna have to say, sorry, but we'll work with you with other stuff. So this gives the ability to do that. So just being very clear, we're going to work with you to keep you part of it. We value you, but we don't control you. Only you control you. And if you happen to do something in your own consulting practice that royally pisses off that customer and they fire you, or they don't choose to renew agreement with you, and now that affects our relationship with them, then we have the right, after so much time, to go to that customer directly. All right. Site technical difficulties. Naturally, we're going to resolve any site technical issues as quickly as possible. If that customer did not renew because of site technical issues, we'll naturally work to resolve that. That would not count against you. Again, really, it only this would count against you if again, you did something that in your capacity as a consultant with that employer that negatively impacted our ability to do business with them. But if we negatively impact the relationship due to site difficulties or so forth, that obviously that's not on your fault. So naturally, we will want you to work diligently with us to keep that customer happy and on the site, even if that takes 6 months, which no one wants that. We don't want that. But just, again, this is about putting as much as possible in the agreement for clarity. Again, these are in the unfortunate, unforeseen stuff, yet we can think about it potentially happening. So let's put it in the agreement on how we would work if that unfortunate, unforeseen situation were to happen. Okay. All right. Right to audit. This means that you have the right to audit with OutBüro. Here you will request an audit. Again, you're going to receive on a regular basis, probably once a quarter. Again, what I mentioned earlier, your report, your summary report and detail report. But for some reason, if you want it one in more in advance, then you may request that. We will only, but you can't go doing it every month. And if I have to put that language in here, I will, but you can't request it. If it's a quarterly thing, don't request it every month or you're just going to annoy me, frankly, and annoy our accounting person. And if you then want it, if you want that, if you require it more than we're giving, we'll be happy to do so at a fee. So I don't have that language in here because unless I see that it's needed, but just know it's going to be regular. You can request it periodically, say once or twice a year at an interval other than what we regularly provide. But if it starts to become a habit and taking our time to do it, we'll be happy to do it at a fee to cover our cost of doing business, to appease you in your wanting something more frequently than everybody else. So again, we'll take that as a one-off. Ethical behavior. Again, this is just you're going to do everything in an ethical business format. You, under no circumstance, will offer a split of your commission to anyone. For an example, let's say you contact the main person of their LGBT employee resource group, and they're not a decision maker, they're an influencer. Under our ethical behavior, you cannot offer any employee of a company or a government agency any sort of bribe, offering them a portion of your commission, offering them a vacation, offering other than taking someone out like normal business practices, taking someone out to dinner, buy a couple of drinks or something like that. If you normally give your customers a Christmas gift or something like that, a fruit basket or whatever, that's okay. But just know that just don't try to do any bribery of any sort. That will nullify our entire agreement because we don't want to be associated with that kind of business. Just again, we don't think and hope that anyone out there would do that. But again, we're just trying to be as thorough as possible here, especially because employers can be government entities and we'd never want to come under that kind of review. Just not good. Don't do it. Okay. Term and termination. Our agreement is for 1 year and will be automatically renewed, assuming activity, as mentioned earlier, that there's continuous activity. So if there isn't, then the contract will run its course and terminate, meaning that no future commissions would be paid. You have to have an active contract with us in order to receive commissions. You don't just receive commissions and then disappear, no activity, and get a check for the rest of your life. That's just not going to happen. If you breach the contract, i.e., if we find out that you have bribed someone, that we could terminate the entire contract due to that. We also could do administrative warnings and coaching and so forth, and keep it would depend on the severity. Okay. and we'll get to a clause here, that I have the ability to waive anything in this contract. So, if I see your effort, if you're doing, a good job, but just not getting traction, what that means is you need coaching. Okay. We need to strategize. Okay. I'm not just going to cut you off. I mean, if you're putting in the effort, I don't want to just cut you off because you're obviously excited about it and doing it. You just might not be conveying the value proposition well. And so what we would do at that point is we would do some coaching. We would sit in on some initial calls. There's also, by the way, there's also coaching, sales coaching. We would not pay for it, but we have really good coaching, some of the best sales coaching, to even direct dial coaching available. And she's a really great person and phenomenal, actually. So, maybe you would invest in yourself. That would also help your overall business. So anyway, either party may immediately terminate the agreement. So you can even terminate the agreement for some reason. If you're just like, I just don't like your bald head. Okay, well, there's a little bit of hair up here, but you can terminate it. For some reason, if it's not working out for you, no biggie. I mean, it is a biggie, but you got into the agreement with us for some reason in the first place. So hopefully that won't happen. But still, all things are covered here. So, so there's reasons why here spelled out, that other reasons why it might be terminated. Confidential information. So you need to treat any and everything that you receive, unless it, obviously, if it's clearly meant for commercial consumption, meaning that it's advertising, interview videos that we do, marketing videos that we do, etc. That's obviously, you can share it. It's public sphere. But if so, all the information in and around pricing, strategy, future plans, etc., all of that remains confidential information. And so this spells this out. So keep the confidential information as closely guarded as you would your own, and all things would be good. If the contract is terminated for whatever reason, you are agreeing that you will return any confidential information that has been provided to you. In today's age of electronic distribution of most things, you also are affirming that you have destroyed, you have deleted, you are not keeping any form of backup. The data is not on any of your backup files. If so, those are destroyed. You've made new backups of your systems, and that is destroyed. And we would require that we receive a certified document, a certified letter, notarized certified letter stating that you have deleted, destroyed, eradicated, etc., all information regarding OutBüro from your systems, because we don't want any of our content leaked. There's one other organization out there. I just say I'm going to be very interested to see what they do. This is middle of December 2020, and another organization just got about $1 million in funding, and they have already started to copy outbureau.com, and I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with this other $1 million. And they've been trying to get on my site and so forth. And so yeah, so there's, when you do something and it looks decent, people will try to copy it. And so it's all about trying to keep confidential information from, keeping your, my competitive advantage and your competitive advantage. So we also would destroy information that you provide us. Non-disparage. What this just means is, look, keep it professional. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you do that, we're good. Okay. and I put this in here because it was very interesting. I've saying something negative, even though it may seem somewhat innocent to you, can really impact someone's opinion of you, and you might not have even met them. So I'll share an example that happened recently. I was talking with a person in the LGBT community in an organization. I won't give too much information because I don't want to divulge it, but this person in this LGBT organization is very well connected. And I was saying how, I was wanting to go after, organizations A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G, so forth. They gave him a laundry list of these organizations. And he was like, oh, well, this person at here is great. This person's great. This person, oh, watch out for this one. This person at this organization is just, an a-hole, this and that. And I really didn't think of anything about it, but I'll be honest, it's kind of tainted my view of that organization that other person is the executive director of. And it's made me personally second guess, and I know, you should always, take your own things, but I'll just say that other person shared their negative perception of this other executive director. I know how it affected me now. So, come on, I don't need to be, doing an elementary class on this topic. When you hear something negative about someone, that person doesn't even, has a much harder opportunity of seeing and experiencing things from their own perspective, because that seed has already been planted. So that's what this is about. And if you have a problem with me, or if you have a problem with OutBüro, you need to be man, woman, or however you identify enough. You need to be business enough to come to me and tell me. I want constructive feedback. And it's okay to tell me something that you don't like. It's totally okay. Just do it in a constructive way. That's all I ask. I mean, I'm not known for pissing people off unless you piss me off or you do something negative to me. I'm going to react back as professional as possible, and I'm the kind of person, I turn the other cheek and give people another opportunity. But, if it's consistent, I'm going to come out. You're going to know. So I'm just going to tell you, if I have a problem with you, you will know. Flat out, you will know. If we get into an agreement like this, I will let you know if I don't like something, or something needs to be done differently or done better, or if I have heard something that was said. Believe me, I will come to you directly. I don't beat around the bush with that, because I like complete transparency and clarity. I like to be an adult. And so I'm going to just ask the same thing back is, don't spread rumors, get the facts directly from me. If I've accidentally said something that upset you or whatever, believe me, it was completely accidentally. So just let me know, right? I'm human. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay. But, harboring bad feelings is not okay. It gets no one anywhere. So if you ever have an issue with me or anyone on my team, you come to me directly and you bring it to my attention, and I will work to resolve it. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Non-solicitation. This is just, you are agreeing to not try to poach my staff as I'm striving to build my company. You are agreeing to not do that. So I think that's pretty much clear. You are also not going to try to poach the employees of other partners. You don't want other partners. If, let's say, you're building your business and you have some contractors or whatever that you work with regularly and you depend on for your business. Well, you don't want my other partners to come along and see what a great team you have and then try to poach them, right? That's not good. So in this, I actually state that you will not poach the employee or contractors of OutBüro or its affiliates, meaning folks like yourself. So don't do it. Don't poach from the same. Don't poach from the same pool. Go out and find new talent. No waiver. What no waiver means is that I can waive any and anything I want. So it's my contract. So for example, if you getting back to the base, so long as I see that you are actively working, if you didn't meet your commission or your base of $300 and $500 for the year, but I know your mom has been sick, you've been taking care of her, or your child has been sick and you just haven't been able to work on this, your own business is struggling, but you've been giving it the best shot. I can waive that. I can waive it and keep the money that you have earned so far coming to you. I can waive it for a year. The likelihood of me waiving it that 2 years in a row, probably not going to happen. But would I waive it? Possibly, based on circumstances, 1 year, yes. So this gives me the ability to waive anything, but that doesn't mean that the contract is not valid, or again that you can perpetually be not meeting the basic super basic requirements. That just means that I'm able to waive it, but the contract stays intact. Okay. Survivability. Severability. So what this means is that when the contract is terminated, that the severability. Sorry, I don't have my readers on, so I'm going based on my memory here. Severability. So if for some reason we end up in arbitration because we have a dispute for some unforeseen reason, and a court or arbitrator, finds that a paragraph or a sentence or whatever is not legally enforceable within that jurisdiction, which all things have to be brought in Broward County, Florida, where OutBüro is based in Fort Lauderdale. But let's say whatever the non-waiver is, for some reason a sentence in it is not viewed as within the laws of Broward County, Florida, then what this says is that we will mutually respect the intent of what was written, and we will both sign an addendum that has language to that jurisdiction that is legal within that jurisdiction and maintains as close as possible the intent of the original agreement. That's all it means. Is like, there's so many jurisdictions out there. If for some reason we did do something in New York and had to have a court issue in New York, and this sentence that is okay in Broward County for some reason isn't also okay in New York, we agree again that we're going to go based on the intent, rewrite it, re-sign with a short addendum, rewording it into the language that is legal and binding in that New York office, New York state, and just move forward. So it just maintains the integrity of what we are agreeing to here, regardless of jurisdiction, because we'll rewrite it if we have to with the intent of what we agree to here. That's what that means. Very simple. Force majeure, very fancy French word. What that just means is that if there are acts of nature, some things say acts of God, what this does is standard. This is standard. Most 99% of this agreement is standard boilerplate language, literally taken from other contracts that my attorney has had, right? So they don't just create something from nothing anymore. So force majeure is like the COVID virus. So no one could foresee that the COVID virus was happening. Look at all of these hotels and event spaces that had to cancel their events, stadiums, you know, with concerts and sporting events. Force majeure means that you can't sue or call breach of contract based on force majeure, things that are outside your control, nature, you know, tornadoes, tropical storms, national disaster, health pandemics, strikes, transportation shortages. And this means major transport, not just that you didn't put something on the truck. You didn't mail it through UPS. No, that's not a transportation shortage. That's like a nationwide strike. You know, that's like no gasoline available for trucks to deliver kind of situations. These are like extraordinary situations that are outside the realm of control. So, so for an example, again, you know, so due to COVID, those hotels and event venues were able to return the monies or give credit or whatever they did. But you know, if you had a wedding planned, the bride and groom couldn't sue the event facility because COVID happened. So that's what this is. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just that's what it means. But again, feel free to read it. Arbitration. Arbitration is an alternative dispute resolution system. If you've never heard of it, it just means instead of going to court, we agree to have a third-party attorney arbitrator who is part of the arbitration society, and they act kind of like a judge. So they hear the case, they hear both sides, and they make a decision. So it's a third party that has no entanglement, you know, in no drama, honey. They're just hearing the facts and they make determination based on the facts. And so we are agreeing to use that. It's cheaper, it's faster, and it's legally binding. So, so there's that. Indemnification. You are indemnifying us. So, you know, you're out there, you're doing business, but you're also representing OutBüro. So if you do something in your business that causes someone to sue you or something like that, you are holding OutBüro not liable for your actions. And likewise, this is reciprocal both ways. Limitation of liability. This is just if we do for some unforeseen reason, you know, like let's say a client cancels, they no longer subscribe with us, and you get all angry and you still try to sue us for the fees in which they're not even paying. By the contract, you're not owed it, but you don't, you know, you're in a crazy state. You don't care what the contract says. You still try to go after us or whatever for the money that you think you're owed. This limitation of liability is simply that if we do get into some unforeseen situation where you believe you have the right to sue OutBüro, you are only eligible for the funds to receive payment for the funds in which you are due, and that only. So, you know, if we saw each other in person and I said something that offended you about the yellow shirt that you were wearing that day, and you called it mental distress and how you couldn't believe how rude I was because I didn't like that yellow shirt you were wearing, and so you decided to try to sue me, ain't going to happen. That's what this is. The only funds you're going to get is the funds that you are due. So I normally I don't much say things about people, what they wear, but anywho, I'm just trying to use an example off the top of my head to try to illustrate what this is about. So if I happen to be driving a really awesome Jeep in the future, nope, you can't sue me for it. So that's what this is. And I can't sue you for, your house and your boat, or your vacation home, or the funds that you earn through the rest of your business, etc. Can't do it. So this is just, trying to make it simple. And really this is to keep people from being sue happy. If you have a problem with me, talk to me. If I have a problem with you, I will talk to you. So, and let's try to resolve it. That's all. Because you're not going to get, the only way you're going to get rich off of Help Bureau is by bringing leads to the table who convert to subscriptions and they maintain subscriptions. I hope you get to the point where you're making $1 million a year and more from OutBureau. But it's going to be because it was earned, not because you sue me because I looked at you crossways, Sorry. If we get together and have a cup of cocktails, I just say, sometimes I can give looks on my face that people will think is something and it's nothing. Maybe I just, tasted, got the chunk of lemon in my mouth from the cocktail and I made a sour face. It wasn't at you. It was the lemon in my mouth. I'm just trying to be comical here. These are serious, but so long as we are all being adults and we're all trying to do our best, to the best of our ability within reason, we shouldn't have any problems. Headings, the big bold black headings are nothing but just that. You can't, they don't, the word heading here, it cannot be legally construed as to mean or imply anything. Legal review, this is stating that you have taken the opportunity to have this agreement reviewed by an attorney. I do strongly recommend that. If you do not have an attorney and would like it legally reviewed, there is a company called Legal Shield. I can refer you to a business partner of mine who represents Legal Shield. I do not. Just simply, it's not something that I do. But for like 25 or 30 bucks a month, you can have legal representation. They can, do lots for you. If you would like that, just please let me know, and I'm happy to put you in contact with the representative of Legal Shield to get you signed up for that, if you so desire. But whether you have actually had an attorney review this or not, here you are signing that you have had the opportunity to consult with independent legal counsel. So this is not saying that you have had it reviewed by attorney. It is saying that you have had the opportunity to have this contract reviewed by your own legal representation. So whether you do or not is totally up to you. I do not require it. Again, if you would like a very affordable plan to have legal representation for you and your business, I'm more than happy to put you in contact with a person who represents that company. But I am in no part, in any shape or form, part of that triangle. I will just make that introduction should you desire. Assignment. You may not assign this agreement to someone else. So this contract is between OutBureau and you. So you can't assign this to your uncle, your neighbor, your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, whomever. This is between OutBureau and you alone. Because that would be putting OutBureau in a legal contract with someone. Well, what if I don't like that person? What if I don't want to do business with that person? You can't hold me by this thing here. You cannot force me to be in business with someone that I may or may not want to be in business with. I have to make that choice. So if you would like your rights under your stuff, your ongoing funds and so forth to be assigned to someone else, there's multiple ways that could be done, including a new agreement. I mean, I'm open to entertain it, but you don't have the right to just automatically make that decision for me, is what this says. There's also, again, there's multiple ways, you know, like if you're doing estate planning or something like that, there's multiple ways we could do that, but that'll be on a case by case basis. Survivability. So if and when this a contract is terminated, here are the clauses that would remain. Again, that the title of the clauses, that would be, you know, arbitration, indemnification, confidential information, non-disparage, limitation of liability, etc. The big ones. Governing law, OutBüro is headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And so this contract's governing law is the state of Florida and the county of Broward, which is where Fort Lauderdale is. So any and all issues in related to this contract is governed by the laws of Broward County, Florida. Notices, we'll be doing things via email. So you have my email at Dennis, DENNIS, at Dennis@outbureau.com. So let's, you know, and that'll be for, like, let's say, you know, changing your banking information, where we auto deposit checks, your mailing address, where we mail checks, etc. Those are really the only reasons why notices. And notices obviously coming to us for the registration of businesses. This is the entire agreement. Addendums would only be added for clarity, which we talked about for under severability. This is the whole agreement. There's no additional agreements outside of this. There's nothing verbal between us outside of this agreement that you understand or think. If it's not in this agreement, it doesn't exist. So that's what this says. Okay, you will have a block here on the e-signature form to put in your company name or your individual name. I don't care if this agreement is with you personally or your business or organization. One person owns a nonprofit and they're wanting two agreements, one in the individual executive director's name for his personal contacts that he has, and then one in the organization name for the official organizational contacts, so that funds would be, you know, leads would be coming in from both personally, that person and the organization, and then therefore hopefully in the future, hopefully near future, funds would be distributed to both of those separate entities. You may do that. Talk to me about, I don't really need to care. I don't care. It really doesn't matter. It's your money. All I care about is what's in this contract, what we're going to be, you know, about getting the leads, you maintaining it. If you want that as you personally or you, the organization, makes no hill of beans to me difference. Okay. And that's it. So thank you so much for staying tuned here. If again, I hope you've taken some notes in case you have any questions, need additional clarity, I'm more than happy to do so. In the link below, or in the comments below, there is also a link to schedule with me on my Calendly schedule. That is my live calendar. So you can schedule a 30-minute session with me to have a one-on-one call to review any questions, comments, concerns, etc. Strategize. Okay, let's schedule a meeting to strategize. Let's talk about the, you know, size of your customer base, your contact base. Let's talk about, you know, numbers and maybe a few companies that and organizations that you think might be that you might be comfortable with in registering for your first 6-month period. And yeah, and when you are registering companies, I really want you to only register those companies that you really feel will be, you know, get momentum going. You know, I don't want you to be overwhelmed with it. Like that person, you know, don't put 100 on the sheet. I won't allow that. There, you know, call it 5, 10, 15, 20 organizations that you feel that you can really, you know, get. and then let's focus. Okay, we don't want our energies spread thin. We want to be targeted, focused, and kick butt, right? Okay, well, I look forward to having a one-on-one conversation with you and moving forward. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.